94.9 The River Music First. I'm Rochelle. We have an author interview today. Really excited to have in town and in studio Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. I wanted to talk to you, discuss this a little bit, but how can we find comfort when bad things happen?
Well, we live, we're perceiving life, and we can see the yin and yang on life, and we're airing life. We can see both the dark side of humanity and the light side of humanity. And there's when something tragic happens, it happens. It's either by nature, there's the tsunamis, or someone made a choice, like the things that happen in Orlando and in New York and Paris and around the world. Right now in Mexico and Oaxaca, there's all this turmoil of the teachers being, going through the aggression through the military. It's a tough time there. How do we go through it is realizing that, one, we're alive. And while we're alive, anything is possible. And because we're alive, we have a voice. We can use that voice to liberate. We can use that voice to oppress. We can use that to engage. We can use that voice to create. We can use that voice to divide. We can use that voice to unify. It's up to us how we want to use it. So the uplifting part is that in the moment where as a society we're hurt by an action, we can come together to give each other comfort, to give each other support. Now, of course, there'll be people who want to take advantage of that, right. And that's the other side of the yin and yang. But that's the choice that we have. Which side do we want to, like? It just reminds me of this one story. My brother likes to teach it, and I saw the newest version. It's in a Disney movie. There's a grandfather. It's an old Cherokee story. A grandfather and a grandson talking, and the grandfather says to the child, "There are two wolves inside of us. One is evil, full of hate, anger, prejudice, jealousy. There's the other wolf that's full of love, compassion, unconditional love, respect, harmony. And they're all both living within you." And the child says to the grandfather, after he thinks about it, he says, "If they fight, which one will win?" And the grandfather says, "The one you feed."
I'm glad you told that story because it's one of my favorite stories in the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a story that shows us that we have a choice. We always have a choice. In those moments where something gruesome and horrible happens, we can come together and create harmony. We can be there to help someone. We can lend our hand. We can lend our voice. We can help in the construction. We can support that love, or we can go the opposite direction and bring in that fear. We can bring in that hate and use it as an opportunity to push my agenda, whatever. The thing about it is that we can either pay attention to the humanity, or we can pay attention to an illusion. And that's, you can say, those two wolves, the story. So for me, what's uplifting is that I know I can be the voice that can be part of that harmony, that can be part of that reconstruction or that rebuilding, or just simply I know I can have the shoulder by someone who can, put their head on, or I can have the ear that someone can share. That's something we do and help, And if it goes above my head, I'll say, okay, well, I can't help you, but let me find you someone who will.
That's great, because you mentioned the word fear, and it was a question I had for a little later, but it so ties in right now. Why does it seem to be so much easier for people to hate than to accept? Because they're teaching a lot of fear right now. Mm-hmm. They're telling people who to trust, who to love. There's judgment of religion and color of skin, and the focusing on fearing the big earthquake or whatever's around the corner. There's all this focus on fear. And how do we disconnect ourselves from that drama?
Well, to come to peace with fear, that's what I call this, because you're right. I see that a lot. To come to peace with fear is to respect fear once again. Respect it. The function of fear is to keep us alive. If we're in front of a threat, if there's a rattlesnake, our body will freeze. our body will fight or we will flee. It's the natural reaction we have to an actual dangerous situation. It's real fear. Our body has that moment. It secretes the hormones, the adrenaline that allows us to survive. And that's what natural fear does. It allows us to survive, to keep us safe. That's the function of fear. Mm-hmm. But our mind is so powerful that we can tap into that fear even when there's no real danger in front of us. Mm-hmm. The example, when the movie The Blair Witch Project came out, right. I went to see it and I never seen anything like it, and I got feared. You know, right. I remember my dad showing me for the first time The Exorcist, and I never seen anything like it at that young age, mm-hmm. and it scared me. Now, am I in real danger when I'm watching this movie? No, it's a projection on a screen. I'm not in danger, but the mind is perceiving it, and I will feel that fear. I will experience that fear. Well, the mind is so powerful that even if there's no screen projecting it, my mind can project those things. So I'm projecting things that make me have fear. And that's when I begin to corrupt fear, because I can abuse it in the way I can abuse alcohol or drugs. I can abuse fear in the same way. I can force my body to secrete those hormones mm-hmm. that make me have that reaction, right, that anger, that relation, as if it was there. And we're addicted to it. So you can say, yeah, there's a lot of fear out there trying to control whatever, but it also is there because we're addicted to it. We're addicted to fear. So to come to peace is the same way someone comes to terms with, hello, my name is so-and-so and I'm an alcoholic. My name is so-and-so and I'm a drug addict. Well, my name is so-and-so and I'm addicted to fear, and I've been abusing fear all this time. To begin to let go of it is the same way we begin to take those steps of letting go of what makes us feel afraid. To realize that fear is that false evidence appearing real. It's not real. We're projecting it, and we're doing it over and over again. Are there real dangers in life? Yes, of course. But there's the difference between being prepared and being in fear constantly. Because the thing that fear does is that it stops us from living. The fear stops us from engaging. It stops us from learning, especially when we're so attached to an idea. You see, a belief only exists for as long as you believe it. As soon as you stop believing it, it ceases to exist. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson says, truth exists whether you believe in it or not. And let me add, a thought only exists for as long as you believe it, or a belief only exists for as long as you say yes to it. So when we're so attached to this belief and we don't want it to disappear, we hold on to it. And one of the things we use besides our attachment is fear of the loss. I need to protect this. I need to engage this. This is the way I need to have it, you know. And then that fear comes in as the abuse. So yes, we see it in the world. You know, we see it immediately after what happens, and people sell ratings from it. You know, they get ratings, sure, which they can get more advertising, and people benefit from swaying a boat this way or that way. But in our personal lives, the way we don't allow fear to come back into our lives in that way is to come to terms and begin to respect fear once again. It's there to protect us. But if we are abusing it, then we don't know what we're protecting ourselves from, and we're not seeing what's in front of us. And we won't ever see what the real danger is in front of us, because our perception is so skewed, because fear is already distorted for us.